What's up, gang? Welcome back to Film Director Reacts. I know it's been a while, but as some of you know through my community posts, I actually had COVID for a while. And I'm literally just getting my voice back, so this is really the first chance I had to record anything, because I know many of you have told me that my girlfriend's Dreamcatcher have had a comeback. But first, let's run the intro. My name's Paul Leach, and I'm a writer-director in Los Angeles. I've been interviewed by such publications as The Huffington Post and the New York Council on Cultural Affairs. I've worked with Emmy winners and Oscar winners, and the feature film that I directed went to Cannes. In this series, we break down footage from the point of view of a film director, and we will stop often to look at shots. If you have not seen this video or this footage before, please go watch the whole thing all the way through, because again, we stop all the time and then come back here and break down the footage together with us. Okay, gang, again, I know I'm late on this, but if you have not seen this video all the way through, please go watch it all the way through, then come back here and we'll break it down from the point of view of film director. So let's check this out. I'm super excited. By the way, I have actually seen tons of reactions to this video, which makes my heart really happy. That means they've gotten really popular, so good job. So let's check this out, and action. So that's a Dutch angle. I'm not sure why the resolution is so bad. Let's see what happens. So you notice that GU actually turned over that hourglass. Let's see if that comes back later. GU looking good. So before we go talking about this particular shot, which is a one shot, which is really cool, J.J. Abrams did that a lot in the old days. Have you noticed with this music that the upbeats are stressed instead of the downbeats? So typically in music, a lot of times you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. With this particular song, do you notice it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4? They do that a lot in reggae music, and it gives you kind of that like pushing, jolting, kind of driving you ahead feel. Kudos if you notice that. So again, this shot is a one shot where you kind of pass off between characters, your camera goes and it passes off as a new character comes in. If you look at early J.J. Abrams films like the first Star Trek, he did that fairly frequently. I mean, not like a ton, but you see that actual technique used. It takes a lot of choreographing and a lot of blocking. So it probably took several takes for this to happen, but it looks really good. So you notice here that instead of just doing a Dutch angle, they actually went all the way upside down to make things seem even a little bit more off. Usually that's right side up with the Dutch angle, but they went upside down. It's a cool location. Okay, so what's really cool about this shot is you notice the floor that they're on is kind of like a checkerboard looking or a chess looking board. So when they're doing the warping, it could either be done in camera, but it's probably done in post-production. So if this was all just one color, like all black or all white, you wouldn't notice the warping as much. But because of all these vertical and horizontal lines, the warping effect is really clearly demonstrated. So it's a really good use of that type of floor. So just think of it. Now imagine these are solid colors, all white or all black. You wouldn't notice as much, right? Right? Sorry guys, my voice still isn't totally back yet. So I want you to notice something with these shots outside. This is a really cool location. So typically speaking, you notice this day is kind of cloudy. Where can we back up here? Xi'an singing. So you notice that this day is pretty cloudy, which is amazing. If you're actually shooting like a video or like doing a photo shoot, see how nice and cloudy that is? It's a perfect day to actually shoot outside because you don't have any harsh shadows from the sun beating down on you. But if you are shooting both outside and inside in a studio. So when you're in a really isolated location like a studio, which is really contained, you can just blast people with light. Things are very bright and strident. When you're outside and the light is flat, which is actually better for shooting, things aren't as bright and strident. So what you want to kind of do is somehow, if you're trying to make these things kind of fit together, you want to somehow adjust the color and adjust the lighting so they fit a little bit more closely together. So what you want to do is you want to blast her with light here, probably with a bounce board. You actually can see that she's bounced a little bit, but you probably want a little bit more. So there's not such a differentiation between the way the outside looks and the inside looks, unless that is what you need to do. Do you see the difference right there on this shot? See this? They really blast her with light here, and it's a little bit more saturated, so there's not as much of a difference between this shot and this shot. We're gonna get killed in a second here. Okay, so this is awesome. I like what they're trying to do here. But compositionally, I want you to look at something. So what's happening is these people in the dark here are bisecting the frame, so it's being split in half. Just the fact that they're all dark and Dami's about the same height. And you notice that these tresses from the roller coaster are also bisecting the frame. So now what we have is we have quadrants. Now this kind of goes against the rule of thirds, what you do in cinema. I actually don't think it's the rule of thirds. I think it's actually the golden ratio. But what's happening now is that we're bisecting the frame 2 times. What would have been better is these trusses and everything are a little bit distracting from her. It would have been better to have zoomed in a little bit more, something more like this. And you see how she's more in the frame now and we don't see as much distracting thing on the outside. It's a little bit busy, this particular shot. They're doing something here. I think it's going to continue, so I'll stop later and talk about it. Look at this really soft focus on Jiu. So what they're using there is they're using a softbox that's really diffused. It's like this beauty lighting. She really doesn't need extra beauty, let's be honest. So this reminds me a little bit of Deja Vu, where they are sitting on the throne here. What you're going to notice with this is they're doing fast cuts, but the cuts are not, there's no continuity in the cuts. So in TV and film, like if I was doing a mid shot and lifting up my arm, and then you cut to a wide shot, my arm would be in the same place to create continuity. I'm doing the same movement. You're going to notice with this, every cut, she's in a different position. So it creates sort of like an energy and sort of a herky-jerkiness. So here, so she's squatting down, arm up, squatting down, arms down, in a yoga position, and then standing up and then sitting again. And you guys probably all saw that. It's an interesting wipe here. It's the only time I've seen this wipe, where they just kind of wipe like this. So do you see what I'm saying here? Even this on Sua, so she has a bounce board here to kind of light her up a little bit, but in general, the outside stuff tends to be more washed out because the light it's more of a cloudy day, so there's a real difference between the outside stuff and the inside stuff. If you watch Luna videos where the stuff is all outside, everything is kind of flat, so it fits continuity-wise to the whole thing because everything is outside. But again, if you want to do outside and inside, and you want to draw like a connection, you kind of want to bring those two, the lighting and the way those things look and the saturation, a little bit closer together so it doesn't feel so different. So what they could have done, okay, they could have shot this at night and they could have just blasted her in the front, and this way you don't see a lot of the distracting things in the back. What was I talking about? So shooting at night, you see this, the carousel in the background on this, and she's blasted with light. Look how bright and strident she looks. This is much closer to the way the studio stuff looks, so there's much more of a continuity between that. It would have been better all the stuff at night, for the outside stuff. Did you guys notice? Did you see how those two things look so much closer together? This in this. Now, you're going to notice in this scene that they're doing something that Everglow does a lot, is they're doing the same dance scene, but in one scene that they're really being blasted with light from the front, and another one they're not, which creates textural differences when they cut them into each other. So this one, they're not being blasted with light from the front. Here they are. Here they're not. I love it when people do this. This is not something that they do a lot in videos, but I wish that they would do more. And they never do it, basically, in TV and film. But when the camera is moving, so Guyon is looking right down the barrel, and as the camera is moving, her eye contact stays with looking right down the barrel. So it's not like it's just the camera's moving past her. She's actually connecting with the camera as it moves. Super cool. Let's go back and check that out a little bit more. Okay, same thing here. This is really busy. So this is colorful, so it sort of draws your eye, but there's all this stuff going on and these people in the front. And so what you want to do is you want to think, if you're an artist or a filmmaker, you want to think where someone's eye goes to and set things up compositionally that sets up where your eye goes. This shot would have been much better. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to move this around exactly like I want. I want to move it a little bit more to the right. But it would have been much stronger like this, a little bit to the right, with all the busyness on the side. Still a cool shot. That's a cool shot. She's just standing on the other side of that. Ooh, so this, okay. I want to show you this, as opposed to the shot with Dami, is a good way to use lines compositionally. So where Yoo-hyun is standing here, so all these lines are going directly into her and your focus goes directly into her in the center. Where the other one with Dami, there was quadrants and your eye went all over the place. This is a much better compositionally. Action. Touch angle. Touch angle. That haircut looks amazing. The wig. Push in, touch angle. Nice rundown line. So this reminds me a little bit of their old stuff, like the whole Chase Me, the Nightmare series, where they're always running. Cool if they're trying to tie those things in together. Push in. That guy sitting there. These are great shots where there's forced perspective. So where you have someone in the foreground and someone in the background, it really gives you a lot of depth. I know we talk a lot about depth. Great shot. GU in full goddess mode. Great. Okay, let's talk about it. So one thing I forgot to mention on the music end, and I know some of you know I have my degree in music, is when you heard Sua sing the choruses, they were much more supported. That's why she had all that power and just that strident, very forward sound. That all comes from diaphragmatic breathing. You inhale through the diaphragm, use that as sort of like a shelf, and you sing with that, and it's very supported by your diaphragm as opposed to breathy and airy. It's good to have both of those things, but in Dreamcatcher specifically, the ones who are best at that are definitely Xion and definitely Sua. They've got that belt. It's because they have this really supported singing that they can add into the variety of styles that they use and techniques that they use. Really quick shout out to Lees and Olunder. I think that I've really seen them progress. It's cool because they work with the same band or the same group of Dreamcatcher. So it's interesting to see these girls progress, but also Lise and Alunda progress in their songwriting as well. I'm really happy with the song. It's so catchy. They actually gave us a real chorus between this and Adai. We actually have a real chorus. So in Western music, typically the chorus is the hook. In a lot of K-pop stuff, you know, it's a lot of empty choruses where it's just like something spoken, like it's very brassy, and it's just a beat drop and there's nothing more that happens in that. And me, in the United States, I don't prefer that. I actually like the hook to be in the chorus, and Lise and Alunda did a crazy job. This song is so catchy, it's literally been stuck in my head. It's an amazingly well-crafted and catchy song. From a directing point of view, this video used both outdoor and indoor shots, which I really like using a blending of those shots. A few times though, with the outdoor shots, when they were shot during the day, they looked a little bit washed out compared to the studio lighting, which was very bright. The outdoor shots at night worked really well because it wasn't as busy, all the stuff in the background was kind of blacked out, and they were just really blasted with light from the front, so there's a little bit more continuity in the way that the studio and the outside shots at night looked, and I think that was a little better. They obviously were creating a lot of parallels and doppelgangers in this. I'm sure you've seen people talk about this ad nauseum in their reaction videos, so I probably won't spend a lot of time on that specifically. Overall, after watching the Dystopia series and seeing how like high-end and processed those videos were, they looked really like just bang in your face. This was a little bit different, and some of it really worked and some of it didn't work quite as well for me, just continuity-wise and also framing-wise. As you know, my girls can't do any wrong. I'm so proud of them. The song is amazing. I'm super excited. So, for my girlfriend's Dreamcatcher, and because, it's a wrap.